All right, all right. Sorry about that. And of course, my fucking phone alarm needs to go off in the other room, which hopefully you guys can't hear, but it annoys the hell out of me. In any event, let's see if we're on all three of the platforms that we stream to. Simul stream. Hold on. I'm also trying to get everything set up for this episode of me talking about football for the week. I really need to do, and I still might do videos. I want to do more videos throughout the season and not just rely on the stream. So I haven't really posted many videos, but let's check first off. Are we even streaming? Okay, one, we got two, we got all three. So I'm gonna ask a question I already know the answer to, and that's are we live? I said, are we live? Looks like we are. Vigilante Wednesday here on the fourth episode of the NFL Super Show, where we talk about all 32 games because there's still 32 games. 16 last week, 16 next week. The buys are coming up in the next few weeks, so then it'll be less than. Is it 4 teams on bye each week or 2 teams? I can't remember. I think it might be 4. So that would make it 14 games. So 28 once it gets going until it's done. And right now I'm trying to get everything up because, of course, I don't get everything up all at once. Come on. What do you expect from here? This isn't a professional setup. You can change that if you haven't liked, shared, subbed, joined. If you are a member, you would have already seen the music video, at least the first edit. I'm going to do one more edit of my music video for the first single. It's the title track to my EP upcoming sometime in October, barring nostalgia that didn't exist. So that is, that's fun. And that's interesting. It's just, you'll see it. I'll hopefully have it edit out today. And not just on this platform, but on social media if you follow me. How the hell did I get all these NFL? Is it scores? Yes, it is the scores page. Okay. And trying to get to the pick on the show. How good or bad I did last week. Let's see. No, it's not this site. Yes, it's Pro Football Network site. Okay, that's what we've been using. So that's what we're going to go with. All right. All that said, I see Cotton Ministries was here. And interesting, I didn't think you liked the music. You said get back to the music, which I would love to. They weren't that popular. They were on the music channel. You would hang out. Richard would hang out. Sometimes Tom, Cinch Dildo would basically help the playlist. Zombie Man would play a lot of his music. But, you're such a gent guy. And we would play a little. Every now and again, we would have a metal day or two. But I didn't think you liked the, all the soft R&B, 80s pop that we were producing over there. I didn't know you cared. But I appreciate it. We will get back to it. First, we got to release some of it. And then we got to get back to making it. And that from there. So let's see how good or bad we did. Because first I had to go back to the last episode to get the synthwave. We was doing synthwave Saturday nights. Some of it is synthwave. I cannot lie. One word, 4 letters. Yeet. So let's actually check out how good or bad we did. So this PNG is my screen. What I picked. I had to go back to the old episode and screen capture it. So let's see. I got lit up. I've been going 11-5. I got lit up today. So I picked Buffalo correctly, which most people could. I had it a further game as far as the score, more of a blowout than it was. It was 31-21. I picked. I knew one of these teams would get 30 as far as Atlanta and Carolina, but I got the wrong one. Atlanta got blowed out by Carolina, so they can go now. They're both 1-2. I also missed this Green Bay Cleveland pick. A lot of people probably did. Cleveland's defense. Cleveland looks a lot more like the team a couple years ago than last year's, where they're not perfect, but they got a decent running game. They got a decent defense. Joe Flacco is a decent enough quarterback. He has someone to throw to, in this case, Jerry Jeudy. They're only 1-2, but they're going to be more of a problem in this. They're going to end up more of a problem in the AFC North than Cincinnati will. Cincinnati's going to end up being the bottom feeder, and Cleveland's going to probably win at least 7 or 8 games, maybe 9, depending on how well this defense is. I mean, they paid Myles Garrett a ton of money, and this defense is really, they're reaping the rewards. And of course, and this is something I need to make a video about, the fucking Houston Texans. The Houston Texans dropping the ball, literally, if you talk about Nico Collins, against Jacksonville. So far, 1-3 for these picks. Let's go next one. I did get Minnesota right. I thought this might be a close game. It was not. Minnesota beat the braces off of Cincinnati. And I did get Pittsburgh. So 3-3 with our first slide. I had it was a touchdown score. I didn't have the score right. So what was the second one? So the second slide only has a few of them, and I did get these right. So, I said that 3-3. So I'm 6-3 so far. Philadelphia, which was a close game, came down to the wire. A block kick and a field goal, field goal and a touchdown sealed it for the Eagles. And we'll get through the scores for each game too. Tampa Bay and New York Jets. Shout out to Aaron Glenn dancing. It wasn't enough. AG, a former D coordinator of the Lions. So what was that? So 6-3 for this thing in Indianapolis. They keep rolling. I told you before the season. I may not have gotten a lot of things right. I also said that the Texans would be good. I was wrong. But I was right about the Colts. I told you the Colts would be a playoff team before the season in their video, and that's looking like true. So far, 6-3. Going through these things. Miss WrestlePalooza didn't miss anything, Tom, other than the Usos getting their interest back. Miss Lesnar doing a squash match with Cena. I don't know why they did that. I'm starting to wonder if the internet rumors are true that fucking what's his name is jealous of Cena. You sometimes you hear that, you don't want to believe no shit like that, but then after a while you're like, talking about Triple H jealous of Cena and he's trying to bury him on his way out. Like at first I thought that was bullshit, but the longer this goes on, the more you wonder about that. So all right, going back to my picks. Also got Washington, but you see some of these are going wrong. Got Washington over Vegas. They're 2-1. I had Denver beating the Chargers. That is not to be. The Chargers are 3-0. Also thought New Orleans might upset Seattle. That didn't happen. Seattle put the beats on the NO. I did correctly pick Chicago beating Dallas. I didn't think they would do so much damage to them. The score in reality was 31-14. I had 24-17. I thought it might be a little closer, but I still picked the game. And then I got San Francisco right. I got Kansas City right, which I think most people did. And I got my Detroit team right. Even though when I look back, I think I did say I would be a lot more nervous if I wasn't a Detroit fan. I might actually have picked Baltimore. But I was, this game score was a lot closer than the game was. There was a janky field goal that I kind of thought Baltimore missed, and then a garbage time touchdown to make the score a lot closer than what it appeared. I would say, and this is there's a couple of situations I want to make videos about, and I probably still will try to get them out before this upcoming week. The Detroit win against Baltimore, and just talking about both Detroit and Baltimore and what I think of them going forward. The Caleb Williams thing, I feel like Caleb Williams is getting way too much hate, and I felt that way before this game where he actually is successful. And this isn't necessarily the turnaround. You're going to need a lot more from that for it to turn around for Caleb. And then the other situation I wanted to talk about was the Texans. So what will I say? I was 6-3 in the last slide. So what's this? What am I going to? I'm 11-5 again. How the hell? So I've been 11-5 each week. Let me just redo this just to make sure. Hold on. This fucking can't be. This fucking can't be, right? So 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, right? Okay. Then, and this one I already did. So then, so 6-3, right? Yeah. So going 6-3, and you know all these. So you have 1, 2, 3. It's 9-3. You know, one. I'm sorry, 1. That's 7-3, 7-4, 7-5, and then yep, got the last 4 right. 11-5 again. Geesh. Well, at least I'm consistent. So if you listen to my picks, you got 68% chance of being right. I'm going 11-5 each year. That's playoff numbers. Each week is the playoffs. Let me read some of your chats. I've missed some of it, and then we'll get back to the. We'll go over some of the box scores. I'm not gonna go over every game because this doesn't have to go forever. Me talking about every single team, but I'll go about the things that are interesting. And you know what? As far as the wrestling, which maybe I could do more content on, I actually missed both AEW and WrestlePalooza. I did see a lot of the highlights, and Cotton is here, which is cool. WrestlePalooza graded a C-. Oof. I did see the highlights of the Usos getting their interest back. Lesnar doing a squash match, what I don't understand. Yeah, we've already saw you. They should have did a competitive match. That was not a good. That was silly. Everything's too predictable and boring. I haven't watched WWE in a while myself. Have a friend that was tuning in for the first time with his son. He was put off by that PLE. That's not good. It looks like AEW is starting to turn the corner on WWE. There's times where WWE is beating the hell out of it, and I don't think these are one of those times. AJ Lee tried to say the show that wasn't enough. I didn't think it would be enough. I didn't think AJ Lee was going to be enough. And the load was blown when she, paused. But once she appeared, if you would have left it up to the pay-per-view, you would have still had some of that anticipation. After we know she's going to appear, that kills it. That episode was the payoff emotionally, right? Just the fact that she's coming back. And that was the payoff. You know what I mean? Because let's be honest, they're not going to use her well. They don't use anyone well. Why would you think they're using her well? I mean, they'll have this feud with her, Punk, versus Rollins and Becky. But after that, and even if that, is that going to be that great? Maybe. Maybe they'll let them get personal and real, and maybe they won't. Who the fuck knows? Maybe it'll be lame. Once Cena's out, I'll go back to tuning out, catching highlights. I'm not even catching highlights on YouTube. That's how bad it is. Tony Khan never takes advantage. He doesn't know how to. I'm impressed Tony can at least be a basic bitch. Like he doesn't know how to be aggressive. He doesn't know what his fans like. He doesn't know how to make something that appeals to other people. But he knows how to put together different wrestlers who know how to wrestle and put on good matches. And they use those clips and highlights as their advertising. And listen, they do have some good wrestlers there, but probably the better wrestling as far as in-ring crew. They just don't write good stories for them, so they're not interesting. So it is what it is. Neither company is perfect, and that's why wrestling is the state is in. But WWE is making mistakes in every field. That's correct. Especially signings, Jordan Grace, Julia, Mariah May, going nowhere. Even your girl, Chile, what's her name? Vaquer. What have they really done? They just exist. You know what I mean? And some of these wrestlers get popular. Penta gets popular, but they don't do anything with them. They did anything with Rusev since he got back? Is he still on the roster? Did he get released? Aleister Black, is he still on the roster? Did he get released? I'm being honest. I don't know. Um, just want to know what happens once this mommy thing dies in the beginning. I don't know where Penta is. Are they ever going to pay off this Grande Americano thing, or are they just going to keep it going in perpetuity? I thought we would start to have gotten, that story moving as far as the dual Grande Americano. When is that going to be a thing? Like, okay, we get it that it's two people playing this character. When are they going to start to? When is that going to be an issue? When are these stories going to move? You know what I'm saying? That's these stories have to move. There's 4 of them. I just know Lou Wig and Chad Gable. See, now this is just getting silly. This really should have been a way of keeping Lou Wig and Chad Gable warm and getting those guys over. And I would talk wrestling to the NFL Super Show, I know, but what the hell? What in the hell? Well, this is why wrestling is less interesting. This is why it's gotten a lot less interesting. All right, let's get back to NFL scores. So somehow, some way, I keep going 11 and 5. I don't know how the hell I keep doing this. I don't suggest anyone gamble this, but if you do, you got a 68% chance of winning. So let's get in. I got this wrong. Did I get this wrong? This is week 4. That's not what we want. That's week 3. What we want. Got this right. Bills and Dolphins. What's to talk about? Josh Allen, 3 touchdowns. James Cook, who I didn't do a video on the Bills. They have a pretty easy schedule. And my whole thing is, as long as they keep James Cook, because at the time there were some off-the-field contract issues. But my thoughts were, if they can keep James Cook, they'll be fine. They got a bunch of receivers that I think are better than what people think. And Keon Coleman, Shakir, Palmer, and then Kincaid is the tight end. And then Dalton Knox. Is it Dalton Knox? No, Dalton Knox is the tight end. They got another tight end. I can't think of his name. Backup one. And then just as long as they had James Cook running, with Josh Allen's running and throwing, that would be enough. Because James Cook is the key. That's the thing that's made Josh Allen different. That's the thing that's lowered his turnovers a bunch. It's having James Cook to hand the ball off to and take some of the load off pause. And that's proven true. He's been one of the best running backs. He's got to be in the top 5 to 10 running backs this year so far through 3 games. This Packers-Browns thing, I was looking at the box score a little bit. 13-10. Defensive. This is how Cleveland was winning games a few years ago and made it into the playoffs. Let's actually go into the defensive stats. We're talking about 5 sacks, 6 tackles for loss. How many turnovers? You got an interception. I don't see a fumble, even though maybe. Oh no, yeah, and a fumble, but it wasn't lost. So they caused the fumble with Josh Jacobs. He just didn't lose it. And they caused an interception, which showed that Green Bay, Xavier McKinney, one of the best safeties in the game. But the sack numbers, that's what really – Myles Garrett got 2 sacks. Myles Garrett only got 0.5 sacks. Malik Collins got a sack and a half. Aiden Harrington got a half a sack. Mason Graham got a half a sack. Carson Schlesinger got a sack. And you got to imagine Myles Garrett. I didn't see this game every play. I watched Red Zone a lot, so it wasn't a lot of Red Zone stuff. They got the 2 tight end thing with Harold Fannin and Njoku. This was a Fannin type game. But, I mean, they didn't really, they both competed because 5 for 40 for Njoku. Harold Fannin got 3 for 25, so they used their tight ends more than anything. This is how they're going to win. Judkins, 18 carries, 94 yards. The rookie has a lot of off-the-field stuff. We'll see if he gets suspended. I think it's a domestic abuse thing, but he still had averaged 5 yards a carry and a touchdown. So this team, they have it. There's something about having an identity. They're going to play decent defense. They didn't allow Josh Jacobs to really get going. Look at this, 1.9 yards a carry. Emmanuel Wilson did okay. Jordan Love as a quarterback did okay. But yeah, this is they really stopped the bell cow and Josh Jacobs. They stopped it. Cleveland's going to be a sneaky team. I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs, but they're going to do what they just did, beat teams they shouldn't, and they're on our schedule. We got to take them seriously. You cannot look at Cleveland as just this piss-off team. Even though I still don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but they're going to give teams fits because they run the ball, stop the run, play good defense. It's a story as old as time. My Colts still putting in work. Let's check the box score with them. And let me see. Super Bowl. Yeah, it ain't going to be Lions and Texans. No way. No, I wouldn't put a parlay on. No way we getting Lions and Texans now, man. That shit is not. I'm going Lions Bills. Lions Bills. I still think the Lions though, and we'll get to that game. I'm sure. A guy gloat about my Colts. Granted, it was just the Tennessee Titans, so it's not much. Cam Ward, who I think is a lot better than his numbers. I hope he's not another ruined by the NFL quarterback, ruined by his franchise quarterback. Cause I think there's something there for Cam Ward. Let's see. Daniel Jones still had a pretty good rating. I don't know what QBR and rating really mean. I know it's just an amalgamation of stats. But 94 QBR, 113 rating is pretty good. One touchdown, 228 yards, no picks. Jonathan Taylor balling, and he's on my fantasy team balling, helping me win games. Doing pretty good with that. 17 carries, 102 yards, 3 touchdowns. Just a pretty good game. Michael Pittman is starting to be the star wide receiver that a lot of people thought he could be. 73 yards. Alec Pierce, 67 yards. Even Tyler Warren is looking like the tight end everyone thought he is. Only 3 for 38, but still pretty consistent. Geez, I mean, a lot of these touchdowns, Jonathan Taylor just really took over the game as far as the scoring goes. Tennessee, Julius Chestnut. I've never heard of him. He had 2 pretty big runs, it looks like, or 2 runs for 26 yards. But Tony Pollard, 16 for 45. Did have a touchdown, but not good as far as his production. And the receiving, I mean, you got A.O. Minor, who did get a touchdown. Chika Congo, I believe the tight end, 5 for 66, or something to be said about that. Calvin Ridley, though, the guy who you thought may be the number 1 receiver, 7 targets, only 1 catch. So as much as I want to praise Cam Ward as a rookie quarterback, I think he's a lot better than what he gets credit for. And it just seems like him and Calvin Ridley are not on the same page. And I remember earlier in the season, a lot of those were drops. So it's just something off. And Calvin Ridley is starting to get a little long in the tooth himself. Maybe he's just losing a step and not quite the receiver he was. Bengals and Vikings in the battle of the backup quarterback. Vikings put a whooping on the Bengals, and a lot of people are saying, I guess we can glance at the score a little bit, that Carson Wentz may be a better option than J.J. McCarthy, just given how his production was in this one game. 173 yards, no picks, 2 touchdowns. So a lot of people are thinking that he might be a better option long term. We'll see. Whereas the same thing will happen with J.J. McCarthy, where the backup comes in and does better. The backup in this case is not doing better than Burrow. Browning, 1 touch, 2 picks. Got sacked a bunch. I haven't talked about sacks so much. Jordan Mason for Minnesota, because Aaron Brooks is injured. 16 carries, 116 yards, 2 touchdowns, averaging 7.3 yards a carry. Real good game. Justin Jefferson, 5 for 75, no touches. Hawkinson got a touch. Josh Oliver got a touch. And now Jordan Addison will be back in the next game after suspension. Jamar Chase, decent, 5 for 50. I mean, you can't really ask for more, but, I mean, you can only do so much. Drew Sample got a touchdown. It's starting to rain, so if something happens, that happened. But, just not enough production for the injured Bengals, and sucks for people. At the fantasy thing, I remember not wanting to draft Jamar Chase, not wanting to draft T. Higgins. I just didn't want to draft any of the Bengals, and I didn't really know why. I just felt like something there. Well, I'll tell you why. I saw that offensive line was trash, and it looked like one of the worst offensive lines in the league, and they are one of the worst offensive lines in the league. So let's keep going. Steelers and Patriots. Aaron Rodgers throws a couple touchdowns. Steelers force turnovers. Maybe that defense is finally coming to life, or maybe the Patriots aren't that good of an offense. So yeah, he said another hoe just got fired from WWE. Who just got fired? And please don't put a parlay down because I don't want anyone to lose their money. But yeah, I predicted that the Steelers. Another prediction I had was that the Steelers and the Ravens may come down to the last game. I think they have the last game against each other. And now that the Ravens are 1-2, Steelers are 2-1. I know it's just a game, but Steelers are ahead in that division as of right now. I guess technically they're tied with the Bungles, aka the Bengals, but I think most people would just who's really the head. It would be the Steelers. So we'll see how that goes. And now Ravens have the Chiefs next. Now the Ravens don't have the hardest schedule after their bye in a few weeks, and they could easily gang up a bunch of wins, which is what they did last year. They started off slow, and they were able to just coast on a lot of easy wins. Look pretty good. But I'll talk more about the Baltimore Ravens once we get there because I got some thoughts that, again, I may include in the video. Baker leads the Buccaneers. They're 3-0. My poor, I'm semi-rooting for the Jets. They've had a couple close games with good teams, with the Steelers and the Bucs. Last week wasn't so much, but this past week was okay. Shout out to Sis Gelante and bro-in-law at Gelante. They were actually at that game, and they were fucking close enough they could have told the players what to do. Baker Mayfield is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and he played like it. Jasmine Nix, I don't even know who she is. They better recruit Eva Marie again at this point. They might. Tyrod Taylor was the backup. 2 touchdowns and a pick. He's a backup. You can, what do you expect? Baker Mayfield only 1 touchdown, 233 yards. Bucky Irving didn't have the best game. 25 carries, a ton of carries, but only 66 yards. Baker Mayfield almost did that himself, 4 for 44. As a rusher, Rashad White, 5 for 12. So, they really committed to the running game. Didn't get the most production, but still had a pretty fatal influence, fatal attraction. I don't know who that is. Emeka Ibuka had a pretty good game, 6 for 85. Looks like Mike Evans is hurt, so he won't be. But Godwin may come back. So Bucky had 4 for 8.3 or 4 for 33. Garrett Wilson 10 for 84 for the Jets side, plus a touch. So he played pretty well. Maybe the best offensive player on that team. Breece Hall. I've never been sold on Breece Hall. He had a pretty good first game this year, but now 9 for 21. Braylon Allen 6 for 30. Tyrod did it. He was the leading rusher himself, which back in the day was noted as a rusher. But he's a backup. Hopefully, Justin Fields can get back up and help that Jets team because I do want to see them win, not just because of Matt, but AG. Did we not talk about the Rams and Eagles? I think we talked a little bit about it. The Eagles keep having these games, or I should say the Rams keep having these games against the Eagles where they should win and kind of choke away the game. A lot has been made about Jalen Hurts' lack of production as a passer. Not too much this game. 226 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did go 9 for 40 as a rusher. Saquon didn't have the best game as a rusher, 18 for 46. Didn't really have a good game as a pass catcher, either 4 for 9. But A.J. Brown did have a pretty good game. Devontae Smith had a pretty good game. Even Dallas Goedert had a big play that went for a touchdown. So, a lot is made that Jalen Hurts is not the best pass, which he isn't. But when you need to, and the thing is, if you're going to load up to stop the run, so yeah, okay, Saquon does have a bad game. It seems like anytime Saquon has one of these really bad games, Jalen Hurts goes off. And that's not coincidental. That's not just how does it keep happening. It is that the defense is putting so much into stopping the run that you're leaving things open for Jalen Hurts. That said, a game in which, at the half it's 19-7, and you got, talk about your running game. You got Kyron Williams, who didn't have a bad game, 20 for 94, 4.7. Blake Corum, 8 for 53. You got to know the rushing game. You're like, golly, you really think you should have been able to put the game away, but it happened how it happened. Jalen Hurts is, these are the games that people who are high on Jalen Hurts, which you can consider me on it, or on that bandwagon, one of the people who think he is a top 5 quarterback. It's games like this that we think is like, yeah, he's not going to do that every game, but he is going to do it every game. You need him to, and that's the difference, man. And yes, he has a lot of advantages, but he takes advantage of them because he's not the only guy with a good team around him, but he's the one constantly going to Super Bowls, and last year winning them. So I talked Jets, Bucks, Raiders, Commanders. I got this wrong if I remember. Or did I? No, I think I got this right. Commanders. I think Richard might be the only one here. Brandon Holland will stick around. I'm not as good as Stutz and Landry. God damn it. Let's see. Geno Smith, no picks. That's good. Had a pretty good game. Numbers wise. Richard is here. Okay. Marcus Mariota as a backup. 207 yards, 1 touchdown. But, a lot from this running game. 200 yards rushing by committee. 4 carries for 78 yards. This is Jeremy McNichols. Marcus Mariota himself, 6 for 40. Chris Rodriguez, 11 for 39. Bill, a.k.a. JCM, 8 for 26. Debo Samuels got in the act, 3 for 18. So with everything combined, they were able to get 200 yards rushing, almost 200 yards passing, and that was enough to pretty much dominate the Las Vegas Raiders. So even without Jaden Daniels, still able to be successful. And we'll see when he plays. I would wait. I would definitely wait. You may lose a game or two, but you don't want to ruin this quarterback and ruin his he has a knee injury. Knee injuries you got to take seriously, so you don't want to ruin his quarterback. So where are we? We're at Falcons-Panthers. Got this totally wrong. Falcons had the beats put on them. Michael Penix, who's one of my fantasy quarterbacks, not too good of a game. 172 yards, 2 picks. No touches. Was taken out of the game. Kirk Cousins came in. Got 29 yards, but no touches, no picks. No sacks either. Bijan Robinson did okay. You would like to give him more carries and more touches. 13 carries for 72 yards is pretty good. Nathan Carter got 7 carries for 46 yards, also pretty good. Tyler Algier only had 1 carry for 4 yards. I don't know what it is with these teams. It's like, man, if you run the ball more, you get a chance. Now, I get it for this team at a certain point because you get to 20 down, 30 down, but there's something about running the ball, being on time, on schedule, and having more manageable third downs. You know what I mean? I get that probably after the fourth quarter you can't do that, but even in the third when you're down, it's no shame in trying to get some carries or at least some short passes to your running backs. Use them in other ways. Which Bijan did get 5 catches, so it's not like they didn't use him at all as a pass catcher. But you got to do something. And listen, I didn't see every moment of this game because before it was up 10 at the half. Though it's like, sure you could have did a better job at running the ball than you did, especially when you were doing so well. But they didn't. Chuba Hubbard on the other end was pretty decent as well, 17 for 73. Rico Dotto got a touchdown, 10 carries for 30. high volume, not that productive. Bryce Young didn't have to do much of anything. 120 yards, no picks, no touches. A lot from the running, a lot from it looks like the defense might have scored a touchdown. They did. A lot of heavy lifting done elsewhere, so Bryce Young didn't really factor into the game. I don't want to rate this as a wrestling stream, but it's ironic that 5 minutes after I said the division, it's not as if they fired somebody else. No, that is crazy. They keep firing people. Listen, TKO just wants to profit. I don't know how they're going to profit if nobody watches it, so we'll see what happens. How many more games we got? Goodness, I just feel like I'm just talking. The Texans dropped the fucking ball against the Jaguars. They've since released CJ, what's his name? CJ Gardner Johnson. CJ Stroud, 1 touch, 2 picks. Nick Chubb. Here's the interesting thing. They actually don't have that bad of a running game. They just don't use it. And I'm not saying that they don't stall, but I feel like they don't run enough. This team should really be trying to get 20 to 25 carries from his run and should try to be a run-first team. Nick Chubb, say what you will, he's getting you over 4 yards a carry. Woody Marks starting to emerge. He got you over 4 yards a carry. Now, the quarterback, you don't really want to count in, but, I mean, it was over 5 for what it's worth. Not that I would suggest using C.J. Stroud as a running quarterback, but it's not like Trevor Lawrence really beat you. You know, he threw a pick. 20 for 40 is horrible, but 25 for 38 is also horrible. You know what I mean? Like, you just matched him in horrible play. They really didn't have that much better of a running game, despite running more. They ran more and had less yards. I think this running game could do more. Now, Nico Collins had a good game outside of that infamous fumble. Dalton Schultz, okay. Christian Kirk, okay-ish. Houston could have won this game. But they didn't. They fucking didn't. So I don't know if they can still make the playoffs. They could. Ironically enough, the last franchise to go 0-3 and make the playoffs is the 2018 Texans. They just need a lot of work. And I still got to make a video about it no matter what happens because, I think they'll beat Tennessee. We'll get there when we get there next week. But as far as Caserio, C.J. Stroud, Nick Caley, a lot of C's, and D'Amico, their coach, they have failed this franchise. So, go Birds. You're an Eagles fan? Well, you got a lot to be happy about if you're an Eagles fan. A lot to be happy about. They're probably, I'm rooting for the Lions, but, neutrally, they may go to the Super Bowl again. How can they profit if there's no challengers? That's like if you took away 5 NFL teams. True, but as long as they got, the difference is in wrestling, as long as they got, in this case, as long as they got Rhea Ripley and a bunch of people who want to look at her ass, they'll make money. Like, you know what I mean? It's not to be cruel, but as long as they got Rhea Ripley and a bunch of incels who want to look at her ass, and she keeps posting thirst trap on Instagram, they'll make money. Rhea's ass cheeks will save them. Says she's dying. Well, she needs to post more thirst traps then. to rally her base. Chargers and Broncos, I got this wrong. It was a close game. I thought the Broncos defense would overcome, but the home team won. You always got to think about that factor. Bo Nix, he hasn't been that impressive throughout the first few games. I mean, he's not throwing a ton of picks. He didn't throw a pick today, but just not getting the production that you would have liked. He was a top 5 touchdown thrower last year. Doesn't look to be on that pace, but, he came in late pause last year, so we'll see. J.K. Dobbins played a good game as a running back. 11 carries, 83 yards, 1 touchdown, average of 7.5. carries. That's pretty good. Bo Nix helped his own cause a little bit. R.J. Harvey, the rookie, not doing much. Hopefully that'll improve. Cortland Sutton helping me on my fantasy team. 6 for 118. Tutty, but it was not to be. Justin Herbert, despite throwing a pick, he did throw a pick and a touchdown, 300 yards. Marion Hampton started to emerge. He had 70 yards and a touchdown on 19 carries. Quentin Johnston, who's been kind of surprise of the year for the Chargers, 6 for 89. Keenan Allen, another surprise. Old faithful, back from the Bears, 7 for 65 and a touchdown. Marion Hampton also balling out in the passing game, getting 6 for 59. They just really had a lot going offensively. And even though they threw a pick, they also did get they lost a fumble too. So they lose the turnover margin and actually win. That does not happen much. Yeah, they did. Wow. That's impressive. That's impressive when you can lose the turnover margin and still win. I mean, granted, it is at home, but still impressive. Still impressive. So how many more games from the past? Almost done. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 5 because the Monday. Saints Seahawks. Not much to talk about there. I'm not even going to look at that box score. 44-33. Seahawks are better than the Saints. Everyone's better than the Saints. They had a couple of, the first couple games they kept close. I thought maybe they would have an upset. I was wrong. Bears and Cowboys. I know Caleb paints his nails and maybe sus, but I think people give him too much of a hard time. Pause. At the end of the day, he's a young quarterback. He's in his second year, and we keep having quarterbacks go to new franchises and turn over a new leaf. There's a reason nobody but me thought Daniel Jones was going to be good. It's because too many people blame quarterbacks for everything that goes wrong in a franchise, and it's just not to be. And that's why. And the Cowboys have the worst defense in the league, it looks like. Trading Micah Parsons just made this defense an absolute just nothing burger. They are there for the taking, so the Bears were there to take it. 31-14. Cardinals 49ers, and somebody's got to win this fucking game somehow, some way. 49ers are here to stay. They are 3-0 despite missing their quarterback. Though I would argue, it's Matt Jones having a year like what I just said. A guy who started off with the Patriots was thought to be a burnout. Now he's a backup. He did throw a pick, but 284 yards and a touchdown. Lead your teams to victories. Cardinals do have a formidable defense. So do the 49ers. Unfortunate what happened with James Conner. Looks like he's out for the season. Trey Benson's going to be the fill-in there. Christian McCaffrey is still putting up pretty good production as far as all-purpose. 17 carries for 52 yards. Not the best average, but 10 catches for 88 yards. Still a ton of production. And then Ricky Pearsall is emerging as the number one receiver for San Francisco. A lot of people were high on him than I was. I was proven wrong on that. Jamma Tex Lama. What's up, be lurking? No worries. Appreciate you being here, Tex. But yeah. Pretty good game. Somebody's going to have to win this West. It's probably going to be San Francisco. I talked about how the West the NFC West is simultaneously tough and weak at the same time. And Cardinals are the exemplary team. Why? It's like, they can beat bad teams but lose to good teams. And all those teams are going to probably lose to each other. They all just have each other's kind of kryptonite. Hence why this game was so close. Cardinals could have easily won this game. And if it wasn't for a last-second field goal, they would have. So, to expect the West to be competitive. But there may only be one team that comes out of the West. But we'll see. Because there's a lot going on. The Giants and the Chiefs, this was kind of I didn't even watch this game, and there's really nothing to talk about. You do got to worry about this Chiefs offense to some extent. Ever since they got rid of Tyreek Hill a few years back, they just have not looked the same. But they've been able to still compete and be one of the best teams, though they are only 1-2. They have to go against Baltimore, who are also 1-2 because they lost to my Lions. I was a lot more worried about the game until I watched it. 38-30. I do feel like a little bit has been made out. Granted, listen, there was a garbage time touchdown. There was a field goal that could have easily not counted that went for the Ravens. There were even some janky calls that went for the Ravens as far as I'm concerned. But all that said, I think a lot of people are counting this as a blowout more than it being what. Listen, it was not as competitive as a 38-30 game, but it wasn't this big blowout either. That is to say, until the last quarter, the Lions didn't really start to really dominate. And I will say this about the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson has lost a step. I know he's objectively lost a step from the last time we played against him, because that game we got into the backfield many a time, many a pressure, but he was able to avoid sacks with his speed. And that was just 2 years ago. He's not able to do that anymore. He's still very fast, but he doesn't have that lightning bolt speed. And think about it, he's been in the league now, 7-8 years? What was it, 2017, 2018? So, what was that? No, 2018 for sure. So 2018, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 years, maybe 9. All of a sudden you don't have that same pep in your step. Still fast, still speedy, still going to get a lot of rushing yards, but he doesn't have the ability. He can't keep playing like he wants to play, where he wants to hold on to the ball and make a play with his legs to make a play with his arm. He can't keep doing that. He has to get the ball out quick. He still had a pretty good game. 288 yards, 3 touchdowns. But I say that he probably should have thrown at least one pick, because there was a pick that went right in somebody's hands. Same with Derrick Henry. He obviously had the fumble turnover, but he could have easily threw a pick as a touchdown on this trick play. It did not go well. Lions dropped a couple of those 2 picks. They were literally in the defender's hands. But running the ball, an incredible game. 12 carries, 151 yards. And I have a theory about the Lions. A lot is made about who's the RB1 between Gibbs and Montgomery. And part of why is because whoever runs the most usually has the worst game. What happens is whoever is fresher than the defense and gets those fresher than the defense carries, they usually have an explosive carry like Montgomery does. And since we've kind of switched the role and given Gibbs more carries, we're seeing Montgomery get those explosive carries. At least that's what happened in this game, where he has a much better average. But it's because of all the runs with Gibbs, and he kind of takes advantage of it. That's what happened. That's what happened with Gibbs for so many years. Montgomery would have the most carries, and then Gibbs has 10 carries for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns, plus touchdowns in the air. You're like, well, why would you get the ball to Gibbs more? What's really happening is one is tiring out the defense, and the other is reaping the benefits of the defense being tired out. So no matter who we give those carries to, the other one is more likely going to explode and get the explosive carry. So that's just the way it works. But I'm happy either way. I'm happy to have both of them in our backfield. They combined with a run for golf, which didn't really mean much. 4 runs, I didn't see that. 224 yards, 4 touchdowns on the ground. This another thing about Baltimore, not the same defense. And a lot's been made about their coordinator, just not the same defense it once was. Amon-Ra St. Brown for us, 7 for 77. That's really Illuminati confirmed for the Sun guy, 1 touchdown. Jameson Williams, 2 for 43. Laporta, 4 for 33. No other touchdowns. Jared Goff did fumble the ball but didn't lose it. And then we got a fumble from, what's this? Oh, no, well, it wasn't lost because Jahmyr Gibbs picked it up. I see what I'm saying. And then DJ Reed picked up the fumble that Aiden Hutchinson cost for Derrick Henry. Lamar Jackson did almost fumble it, but they got it back. Let's see about the sacks. Jack Campbell had a sack. Al Kahin Muhammad, this was his coming out party. He had 2.5 sacks. Aiden Hutchinson had 1 sack plus the forced fumble, plus just a lot of havoc. I mean, he had a lot of pressure. It's just really cause havoc. And I mean, really, the Baltimore defense was pedestrian. Now I will say this: they still scored, even if it was garbage time, even if I thought the field goal was swirly. For a team that got dominated statistically like they did, Baltimore still scored a lot of points. So it's too early to panic if you're Baltimore, right? Got to go. No worries, Jamma. Appreciate Tex you being here. Knowing Tex inside joke won't be up long. Fair enough. Hope these two losses toughen your Broncos up. We will see. We will see how the Broncos go. So let's finish off the week. I don't know how I keep going 11-5, and we'll see what I think of your Broncos this week. I'm going Seattle against Arizona, maybe somewhat close. We'll go 24-21. I think Seattle they have a really good defense. They have at least an offensive identity. Arizona is a team it's hard for me to pick consistently. This game, I'm picking Pittsburgh. Oh, 25 score got me. Let's go 27-20. But I'm picking Pittsburgh. Granted, it looks like Minnesota may be the better team, but they're going to go another week without their starter. Let's see if Carson Wentz is a real starter. I'm not sure yet. I get that people aren't sure about Aaron Rodgers either, but it looks like the Pittsburgh defense may be coming back. I mean, we expected them to run the ball, stop the run. They're getting decent production. I don't think I went in and checked the score. I can check the score. Now, what's his name? Is it Caleb Johnson? Let's see Pittsburgh against the Patriots. They're getting Jalen Warren. Caleb Johnson's not being productive. Jalen Warren is the veteran. Okay, I guess it's not the most production, but it's still that committing to the run. 18 carries. Plus, he did do something in the pass catching sense. As long as they commit to the carries, and Kenneth Gainwell, so they had 20 carries from their running backs. I think they're going to commit to the carries one way or another, and they're going to commit to the utility of running the ball, which is keeping the ball possession, keeping yourself at third and short. And they still got Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers is a little bit better than Carson Wentz, even at his advanced age. I think Pittsburgh is being a little bit better of a defense. I'm going to pick Pittsburgh. You know what? See, Atlanta's a funny team. They could easily come back and win this game. They could easily be the team that wins this game after an embarrassing loss because they're up and down. They beat teams they shouldn't, and they lose against teams they shouldn't. But I can't do it. I'm going to go ahead and pick Washington. Not going to be that. Oh, could be some points scored. Maybe not that much. Let's go close, 27-28. Let's go close. I think Atlanta's going to play a lot better than they did last week, but it's not going to be enough. I think Buffalo, maybe still not maybe not blowing out a team as much as they should. We go 31-24. New Orleans has some talent, not enough to win games, but enough to be competitive in them. Buffalo is still one of the best teams. I still think it's going to get. They got the best opportunity to at least get to the Super Bowl in the AFC with how their schedule is going to be, getting number one seed, having people go to Buffalo in the winter. They really should win the AFC. So I got to beat New Orleans. I'm always going to pick my Lions. A pretty safe picking them, but I think Cleveland's going to be a formidable challenge. We might end up having more trouble with Cleveland this game than we just had with Baltimore because Cleveland's going to be formidable with this defense. And they're going to put pressure on us, which Baltimore was not able to do. I guess I'm picking fucking Houston. Houston's not going to score that many points because they can't fucking score. They're going to have to win 17-14. This defense sucks. It wouldn't shock me if Tennessee beat Houston and they went 0-4. But I just because I picked them preseason, I'm picking Houston. But I have no confidence in this fucking team. It wouldn't shock me. Nothing. It's just I'm ready to throw this team out. The baby with the bathwater with this team. Just trash. Carolina's been looking good, obviously, last week, but I think New England bounces back. Let's go 24-21. Still be a close game, but I just feel like New England, especially being at home, um, I think they bounce back in this game. Chargers, Giants, goodness, the Giants have such a tough schedule. Chargers, I think, go. They could this be the game they lose? Jackson Dart is starting. They don't have tape on Jackson Dart. Could he have one of those surprise rookie wins and put pressure on the Chargers and get a lot of hype before they get film on them? Yeah, it could happen. It happens all the time when you bring in the rookie and they have physical tools and they just click with the offense and there's no tape on them and they win a few games. That could happen with Jackson Dart, but the Chargers have one of the best defenses in the league, so I'm not going to predict that. I'm going to go 24-14 Chargers, but I say that because it could happen, and it wouldn't shock me if I'm wrong and that did happen, but that's what I'm going to go with. Okay, so now we have Philadelphia and Tampa Bay. This is hard to say because Tampa Bay does have some injury issues. They have some of it being resolved. I don't know what's going to happen in this game, so I'm just going to go ahead and pick. The safest pick is probably Philly. If it's 21-16, it'll be more score than that. We'll go 27-21 maybe. It's hard. It wouldn't shock me if Tampa Bay wins this at home, though. Would not be shocked at all. But I just feel like Tampa Bay, because of some of the injuries and different personnel, has a little bit more going on. Plus, Saquon is due, though. Vita Vea and that defense is nothing to run on. This one, how long do I think this coach train is going to go? I think this is the week it ends. Though I'm still picking the Colts to go into the playoffs. I think the dream, this is they get to 3-1 and they come back down to earth just a smidge. Oops. So yeah, I'm going with the Rams at home. This is a pretty easy game. So the Jacksonville Jaguars are not good. So this is a game that San Francisco might even do okay as far as blowing them out. I'll give them 20. 28-20. Getting close to a blowout. Still within 10 points, though, I guess. Baltimore, Kansas City. Baltimore was still able to score a lot of points, even in a loss when they got dominated. Kansas City has a good defense, but I don't think they're good enough. How about in a very good game, Baltimore goes 2-2 on the road against Kansas City, who's 1-3, who has to pick themselves out of a bigger ditch. This is going to be another interesting question. Las Vegas or Chi-Town? Woof. Let's see. I don't know how long this Caleb Williams thing is gonna last, right? I don't know how long. As far as he had a really good game against Dallas. Las Vegas defense is not as good as it probably should have been. The offense is pretty formidable though. Chicago's defense is not as good as it should be either. Maybe a bit of a shootout. Somebody's got to win this game. I'm going to pick a little bit of an upset because both of these teams are kind of in the same space. But I'll go with a little bit of an upset because they're the road team. 34-28. Chicago. I don't think either team is going to stop each other, but I'll go with that. Which again, I don't have that much confidence. Would I be shocked if Las Vegas won this game at home? Of course not. I would be shocked if Dallas won this game at home because Green Bay can't return. They got to get back to their form. And I think they do. Go 27-20. Well, 31-24. I think maybe a few more points to get scored. 31-24 Green Bay. You know what? just for the lulls, though Miami should beat the Jets. Let's go Jets. It's all about the Jets, baby. It's all about the Jets. 21-14, and Denver would definitely beat Cincinnati. No doubt about that. I'm pretty confident. 27, we'll go 10. I just feel like Cincinnati is, without Jake Burrow, they're kind of a trash team. So there you have it. This is the team I have. These are the picks I have. I keep going 11-5. And this is the stream. That's the stream. Went over all 16 games. Or sorry, all 16 games from last week, all 16 games upcoming. I told you what I think. Let's see how my predicting record keeps going. I appreciate everybody who was here. Jamma Lama, Retro Richard, Cotton, Kai MFS had a cameo, Brandon Hollum, Tom Jensen. It was cool to have all you guys here. So thank you for joining me. If you like the video, please like the video. If you're so obliged, share and subscribe. Please do that. Even if you do none of these things, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Good night. God bless. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.